Good evening. Welcome to KUTV Weekend Live. Many thanks indeed for joining us for the Weekend Prime. Of course, we have a lot in store for you, including an interview. Today is the International Day of Women and Girls in Science, that is STEM. So stay tuned for that interview. But first, let's get a proper introduction before we get started. All right, Ruth CHEPKOECH is our sign language interpreter tonight. I am on ODIDA. Let's get started. Now, the body of the late Education Cabinet Secretary, Professor George Magoha, has finally been buried in Umiru Village, Game Constituency, Siaya County. Hundreds of mourners showed up to pay their last respect in an event attended by senior politicians in the country, among them former President Uhuru Kenyatta and Azimio One Kenya leader Raila Odinga.
The funeral service for the late Professor George Magoha has taken place today in Umiru Village, Game Constituency, Siaya County, where senior politicians, residents and friends united with the family to pay their last respect. Dr. Barbara Magoha, wife to the late Professor George Magoha, took to the podium to state that as the companion of the late, she did not deem it fit for her to display emotions of mourning her husband in public and urges Kenyans not to mourn but celebrate the long life Professor Magoha lived on earth.
People were upset, some astonished that I did not wail and cry to enter the home. Sorry to let you down. My new position in the family does not give me such privilege to do public display of emotions.
Former President Uhuru Kenyatta mourned Professor Magoha as a hard worker who will be remembered for playing a critical role in transforming the country's education sector.
And when Magoha's term as Vice Chancellor of Nairobi University came to an end, I requested him, because of what I had seen in terms of his contribution to Nairobi University, to take on the role of heading the National Examination Council.
Azimio One Kenya coalition leader Raila Odinga, who also mourned the late Education Cabinet Secretary, says that Magoha was a principled person who was straight-talking and did not discriminate against people based on anything.
Some people say that Magoha was arrogant. I say no. Magoha was just a straight-talking person. And if people don't like, sometimes to hear the truth. If you say it the way you saying it, you love it or not, but you say it.
We join the Magoha family here today for the final send-off. We have come here to bid farewell to a fallen national hero. Our departed friend has been the kingpin of this family and an icon for the rest of us.
Dr. Michael Magoha, the son to the late, mourned his father as a man who treated everybody equally and always focused on bringing out the best version of every person he interacted with. John Obari, who is the eldest brother to George Magoha, says that his death came at a time when the family was already suffering pain due to the loss of the late Professor Alex Magoha, who died a few days before. President William Ruto did not attend the burial service, but he was represented by ICT Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo. Professor George Magoha died at the age of 71 years. Joseph Kess, KUTV.
Has Mumo I beg your pardon, lack of school fees has forced 14-year-old Eric Mumo Sile to turn to vending mangoes on the streets of Kitengela despite scoring 417 marks in the 2022 KCPE exams. After efforts to secure him scholarship were futile.
As Eric Sila set out to complete his KCPE exams in 2022, the last thing on his mind was to end up as a mango vendor with no hope of joining his dream high school. However, this has come to be his current reality even as he seeks to keep going no matter what. Eric Momo Sila, who studied at Kitengela Airview Education Center, has had to stay home even after scoring 417 marks due to lack of fees, and is now selling mangoes for an extra income. 14-year-old Eric, who was supposed to join Ololaisa High School on the 6th of February, is now calling on well wishes as the parents' efforts to secure a scholarship for their son have been futile. Eric's father, a former casual laborer, early last year developed a medical condition that saw him undergo surgery that has left him helpless and unable to provide for his family. The mother, who is also grappling with a medical condition, says that their son is their only hope, and with well-wishers' help he will be able to elevate the family. Joy Maina, KOTV, Nairobi.
All right, now blogger and digital strategist Dennis Itumbi has been appointed a Talanta Hela Council and Technical Committee member. Youth Affairs and Sports CS Babu Namwamba established the Talanta Hela Council and its technical committees for sports and creatives to provide the vision and policy. Daniel Churchill Ndambuki and broadcaster Carol Radul are other beneficiaries of latest state appointments.
The Talanta Hela initiative is a step by the Kenyan government to support the growth of the country's sports and creative economy, create employment opportunities, and position Kenya as a destination of choice for sports, tourism, and filmmaking. The council, established by Youth Affairs, Sports and Arts Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba, comprises two technical committees, one for sports and one for the creatives. The CS will lead the council, which will include the Principal Secretary of the State Department of Sports, the Principal Secretary of the State Department of Youth Affairs and the Arts, the Principal Secretary of the State Departments of Basic Education, and Kizito Wagwala, who will represent the Council of Governors. Earlier on, many had questioned Itumbi's role in the Kenya Kwanza government till Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua explained that he was the aide of President William Ruto. Apart from Dennis Itumbi, other members of the council are David Langat, Deborah Malova, Abraham Kipiego Mtai, Charles Gasheru, Claudia Naisabwa Leshomo, and Norbert Ouma. John CHEPKOECH, who was recently appointed by Trade and Investment CS Moses Kuria as acting MD Ken Invest, has also been appointed as a member of the council. Meanwhile, comedian Churchill will chair a star-studded technical committee on creative economy comprising of, among others, singers Akodhe, Wahukagwi actress, Catherine Kamau, well known as Kate Actress, and actor and radio presenter Jamie Gadhu. The council's term is set to last for 3 years, and its term of reference include providing vision and policy direction, ensure commitment to the initiative at the highest level of government, review progress, and approve necessary policy frameworks. Kadari Chari reporting for KU TV.
All right, the Ministry of Health has today launched the first ever oral cholera vaccination drive in the counties affected by the disease in the fight against the outbreak. County governments have also been urged to come up with policies and laws that will guide food vendors on hygiene standard requirements so as to tackle frequent outbreaks of cholera in the country.
During the launch of a 10-day oral vaccination exercise against cholera disease in Madogo, Tana River County, Director of Public Health Dr. Francis Kuria said that food vendors with questionable hygiene standards is one of the key drivers of cholera in the counties. Other factors leading to increased cases include congestions, especially in refugee camps in Garissa County, sourcing of water from contaminated areas, especially in arid and semi-arid areas where drought has led to scarcity of water, and regulated water vendors and poor sanitation in informal areas.
I think as a county and as a sub-county, and I'll urge here, and we are talking to all the governors present, in this country today where the outbreak is reported. I think this has been a major driver of this outbreak based on our assessment. And we are urging all county governments at this juncture, therefore, whatever bylaws I would have to put in place so that the food sources that we have in the country are all conducted, the food business conducted by people with verifiable hygiene standards.
The target counties for the oral vaccination are Nairobi, Garissa, Tana River, and Wajir, which are classified as the most affected in a bid to control the outbreak, which has so far affected 4,607 persons and claimed 84 lives.
Noting, of course, that in these 4 counties, we are only targeting some sub-counties that are deeply affected by this outbreak. And as you are all aware, this outbreak was reported sometimes in October 2022 in the county that neighbors Nairobi, but it has fast spread now to involve 15 counties.
Tana River Deputy Governor Mahat Loka, who was also present, rallied on the community members to come out in large numbers and receive the vaccine, noting that it is safe with no side effects.
Wakati hii chanjo itakapoendelea, tafadhalini na waomba mujitolee. Msione kama hii vile mwingine alivyotangulia kusema kama hii exercise inaweza kuwa na madhara na sisi. Hapana, sidhani. Hakuna madhara yoyote. Kwa hivyo watu wajitolee, kama ni wazee, kama ni akina mama, vijana, watoto wadungwe, ili pia tujaribu kwenda na mipangilio ya idara ya afya.
Cholera is a disease caused by a bacteria which results to severe diarrhea and vomiting. The diseases can result to severe loss of body fluids and lead to death if untreated. Kadari Chari reporting for KU TV.
Thank you, Kadari Chari, for that report. Now, Second Lady Pastor Dorcas Rigathi has pledged her support to widows and widowers in the country, saying a circle for widows will help in empowering them financially. Pastor Dorcas has also challenged widows and widowers in the country to strive for financial independence.
Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, wife to the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, joined widows and widowers during a dinner hosted by Come Together Widows and Orphans Organization at the Safari Park Hotel, Nairobi. The widows and widowers shared the stories of moments leading up to the death of their partners from natural causes, such as the COVID-19 pandemic and cancer, as well as the life after death of their partners. Pastor Dorcas narrated her experience of being brought up by a widow after the death of her father in an early age. Tapping into her experience from a young age, she detailed the challenges that widows go through in their economic lives, social setup, and even from their immediate and extended families, but urged them not to give up. During the event, a position paper developed by Come Together Widows and Orphans Organization was launched. Led by the founder of the organization, Diana Kamande, the widows called for the legislation of laws to protect widows and widowers from violation, under which the theme was, widowed persons' rights are also human rights. They also endorsed Pastor Dorcas Rigathi as their patron. The widows showcased some of their handicrafts they made to make a living and raise their children, which included scarves, sweaters, hats, and also purses. Joy Minor, KUTV, Nairobi.
Now, South African hip-hop and award-winning singer, that is artist Canon Gerard Forbes, alias AKA, has been shot dead by unknown people. The 35-year-old rapper was gunned down in a drive-by shooting on Florida Road in Durban. AKA is known for hit songs such as Make Me Sing, done in collaboration with Bongo sensation Diamond Platnumz, and Fela in Versace, as James Mureki reports.
A blow to the entertainment industry following the demise of hip-hop and rap artist Kenan Jared Forbes, was gunned down while standing outside a restaurant in Florida Road in Durban. The popular rapper rose to fame in 2009 after breaking away from hip-hop group Entity and releasing one of his debut single, Victory Rap. Kenan was expecting to debut his new album Mass Country in Durban, moment before he was gunned down. The rap star is famously known for his greatest hit Fella in Versace and Make Me Sing, a collabo he did with Diamond Platnumz.
She gon' blow my jeans, Fella in Versace, Mandela in a Rari, rubber bands, where you get them from? Motherland, you're my everything, one and only queen. Anytime you make me please.
Kenyan artists have eulogized him as a great rapper and hip-hop artist who have ever lived, and that he has left a gap that is yet to be filled. The rapper's family described his death as untimely and tragic. Through a Twitter statement, the family said they remember him as a son who was loved and gave love in return, and more importantly, a father to his brave daughter Cairo. Kenan has left behind his beautiful daughter Cairo with the Forbes and his girlfriend Nandia Kakai. James Moriki Mwenda, KUTV, Nairobi.
All right, we are taking a very fast short break. At this point, you're coming back with more stories. Stay with us.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
I'm managing projects for Computers for Schools Kenya, and there are projects that relates to mostly ICT in education, capacity building, and of course electronic waste management. What to do with the older devices now became a big challenge. So we started the department for electronic waste management within Computers for Schools Kenya.
This is a cable stripper. This is a CRT cutter machine. So this is a we center dismantling space.
I'm a freshman in Kenyatta University. This is all what I've heard about campus. Campus is full of freedom.
Ni cumulative.
Mchezo hiyo ili poka gani kwani?
I'm a fourth student and I mostly hang out at shopping center. I'm an arboretum, and what I'd tell first years is it's never too late to start being serious.
Welcome to Children's Corner. Welcome to
Children's Corner.
Children.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepo pasi vuku vuku, pepo
kwamba ni idea.
Sazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na uasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, ndio inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni Duniani Leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
We are all seeing the impacts of climate change. In Kenya, for example, the frequency of the floods is becoming more and worse. The amount of people and livestock we are losing.
The level we need to go is a level where the normal mwananchi and also the government stakeholders can uptake these solutions.
Those small acts multiplied by millions of us will help make a difference in the world at the end of the day.
It's just a slight behavior change that we need, and you'll find that it serves us a bit more than you put in. And that's the goal. We want to live a better world than we found, because at the rate we are going, it's dire.
We will secure the planet for future generations.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more, only on Law Matters.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now, the United Nations today led the world in marking the International Day of Women and Girls in Science, with a focus on the role this group plays in relation to the Global Sustainable Development Goals. Kenyatta University also joined the world in the celebrations through a session with high school students to sensitize them on the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics courses, that is STEM, which have registered lower enrollment due to negative perceptions among students.
Even as the world continues to battle several problems, experts believe that a majority of the solutions lie in science.
In sciences, there are jobs even where people can be able to employ themselves. And if you think around, many of the solutions we need out there lie in sciences. We are talking of many areas, like you think of blue economy. It's a big area, climate change, and the solution lies with the scientist. So I believe there are opportunities there.
In spite of this fact, enrollment of the girls in STEM courses remains low, mainly due to negative attitude and perceptions among the girls that the area is reserved for the men, something the Executive Dean in Kenyatta University's School of Pure and Applied Sciences, Professor Michael Gisheru, seeks to deconstruct.
But we are seeing the gaps is narrowing. As I've mentioned, if you think of one sector, education sector, you have seen more and more women take science subject, and now the gap between science teachers and other teachers for humanities is almost not there.
To incentivize young girls to join the science and maths-related courses and jobs, affirmative action measures such as lowering of university entry grade for girls has been in place, as well as mentorship, but more still needs to be done.
There is the UNESCO STEM Kenya. I know here in Kenyatta University we have the Women in Science an engineering project that really was empowering women, and up to today we are following on those mentees that we are given then, and most of them are doing better.
Professors Judith Waudo and Ruth Wanjau were both speakers at today's event, where high school students got a chance to listen to presentations by Kenyatta University faculty on matters science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Professor Waudo, who is the director at the Center for Gender Equity and Empowerment in Kenyatta University, says that data-driven policy can help solve the enrollment problem.
Can't say implementation is 100%. There's a problem. It could be the issue of resources to implement this policy, but in some, they're actually taking our policy. For example, the Ministry of Tourism, they have taken what we have and they are putting in a white paper. Now it's now the industry players to implement in a way. And for us to see whether there is implementation, we track, some of those policies to see whether there is an impact.
Peace Mumbi teaches maths at Kahawa Garrison School. She is optimistic about the future of girls in science.
So the event is very good because it has changed the attitude of my girls, and I know the ones who are here, they will take the good news to the rest of the school. And also to the boys, because my school is a mixed school, I know they have been told they have a role to play, and they need to be encouraging the girls also to be in science.
Some say that what a man can do, a woman can do better, even in the science field. Dennis Omondi, KUTV.
Indeed, the proverbial what a man can do, a woman can do better. Now that's our discussion of the night. Tonight in studio, I'm joined by Dr. Winfred Mutuku, that is the chairperson, Department of Mathematics and Actuarial Science here in Kenyatta University. We want to talk about women and girls in STEM. Welcome to studio, Dr. Winfred.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here with us tonight. Now let's just get right into it. Today is International Day of Women and Girls in Science. As a woman in science, what does this day mean to you?
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a day I choose to celebrate myself and other women in sciences who have actually broken so many barriers to go into male-dominated domain.
Yeah.
And as the people who actually coined and adopted the International Day of Women and Girls in Science, that is the United Nations General Assembly, their key objective was to promote the full and equal access and participation of female in STEM.
Science.
So for me, apart from celebrating myself and the other women, I use this opportunity to reach out to other girls and try to see how is it that we can promote their uptake into this field of STEM.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, you have been doing a study called AIM study, which stands for apprenticeship, internships, and mentorship programs among young girls. This is to make them pursue STEM courses. Tell us about this study and maybe your findings as well.
Thank you. This is one among 7 research projects funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates under initiatives of What Works for Women Economic Empowerment. And in this particular study, we are looking at how is it that we can enhance work readiness for women through the AIM programs. And the AIM programs are internship, apprenticeship, and mentorship. So in the study, which is still ongoing, we sought to answer the question, can the provision of these programs actually improve work readiness, especially for women? So in this study, we looked at 3 different programs. One is the Public Service Internship Program. We also looked at the Kenya Youth Employment Opportunities Project, that is the KIOP program. And also we looked at the UNESCO Nairobi Scientific Camps of Excellency STEM Mentorship Program. So what is it that we wanted to see? We wanted to see whether people who have gone through this program, they actually have better employment outcomes. Is their income more? Are they more informed when it comes to career choices? And when it comes to career progressions, is their career progression faster or accelerated compared to people who did not go through these programs? So in the pilot study, which was actually initially, the main objective was to look at whether the tools were working, but we also analyzed the findings of the pilot study. So when we looked at the findings of the pilot study for those people who went through these programs, we found that we could say that majority of the young women secured jobs. So we actually say that if these young girls are mentored, if these girls are given opportunities to take part in these internship programs, then they acquire these skills which employers tend to look for. Therefore, their chances of being employed become higher. We also found that their chances of employment became higher, although the higher you went in the levels of education, the more chances you had of employment. From the findings we had from that study, we can actually say the STEM Kenya Mentorship Program does not really guarantee high income. However, high levels of education, the course you take at the university, and the grades you achieved actually were some of the determinants of the income level. But what are we saying? Those girls who pursued the STEM courses and eventually got STEM jobs, their pay is higher than those ones who pursued non-STEM courses. Yes.
Interesting. Now, from your research, what's the percentage of women and girls in science at the moment? And is there growth when it comes to gender parity in these courses?
Based on the findings of the pilot study, I can say the girls who pursued STEM courses were basically around 25% compared to 35% who went to non-STEM courses. That for me is actually an improvement, because when you look at studies which have been done before, you actually look at statistics and you find that you are talking about 3% of women who are pursuing ICT. We are talking about 23% of women in STEM. So for me, I'm saying yes, these opportunities the girls which are being presented to the girls, they are actually changing the narrative, and we are having more girls pursuing the STEM courses and getting into STEM careers.
All right, now what can be done by stakeholders to engage more men and women in STEM?
One, I think the first thing is let us look at what are some of these barriers which maybe act as inhibitors for girls pursuing STEM. And once we look at them, then we are able to see how do we address them. Basically, I think this is common knowledge, socio-cultural norms, whereby we have the gender stereotypes. I'm told people who went through the A levels, they actually talked about maths, physics, and chemistry as the manpower combination. So where does that leave the girl who wants to pursue that and already is being given that mannish outlook? We have the gender division of labor. We have also a challenge when it comes to access and control of resources. You'll find that when you look at grants which are given for women to do research, women tend to get smaller research grants compared to their male counterparts. We initially would say that we had fewer women role models, and our pedagogy is actually also anti-women, because we find that we have gender blind pedagogy, which is actually a deterrent, because when you're looking at the way curriculum is being delivered, the resources which are being used, for example, books. When you look at the illustrations in the books, you'll find that an engineer is illustrated by the picture of a man. Then while that mother who is, that woman who is sweeping, you will find that it's a woman who is sweeping. When it comes to careers which are related with cooking, then it will be a woman. Who said that a man cannot be the chef and a lady be the pilot? So you'll find that those are some of the hindrances. So how then, having identified some of these barriers, how do we deal with them? I would actually say some of the strengths and the strides we have seen achieved so far could be attributed to affirmative action. In Kenya, we have the 2/3 gender role. We actually seen more women in leadership, more people getting into politics. We have the affirmative action when also it comes to enrollment, scholarships for women. And also we could talk about, we need to sensitization for adoption of gender-sensitive organizations. As a mother, as a woman, how friendly is that environment to enable me to work and at the same time take care of my needs as a woman? Then we also need flexible work schedules for women. Women at one point they will be expectant, at one point they will have a baby. What measures do we have in place to ensure that that woman plays all the roles and she does not feel disadvantaged? We have government policies actually which have seen women participation grow, like for example the return to school. We are slowly seeing shifts in the gender responsive pedagogy. We've talked about the mentorship program, especially the one which was initiated by UNESCO. It has actually had an impact. So what we need to do is look at the problems, try to get solutions to address those barriers.
Now, what do you think or would suggest that organizations do to achieve gender equity in workplaces? This is to break the stereotypes that only men can dominate the world of science.
I would say I've actually talked about them. We have the affirmative action. And affirmative action should not only be employed when we are recruiting. Do we apply it when we are promoting? What measures do we have to actually make the environment suitable or comfortable for a woman? For instance, in KU, in the maths department, do I have an environment which is suitable for a young mother who is a scientist? Are they able to come to work with their children? So some of these things and the normal stereotypes can be discouraging. So if we can look and try to address them, then I think we will be able to reduce this gap.
All right, now, before we let you go, what is your advice for youth, especially women who are looking to pursue a career in STEM?
One is to eliminate lab. So what would I tell the young person? For me, I would look at science, not like a hard subject, but I would look at it like a magic subject, which provides solutions to day-to-day problems. For instance, today during the exhibitions which were being presented, I saw young girls, young students come up with solutions which we are facing as a society. One of the students had come up with a shampoo which actually says it can actually help women whose hair is falling. So when I look at science as a provider of solutions, then for me, I will not fear science. Then again, if you look at it that way, then you'll be more motivated to actually pursue that. So for them, let them relate their day-to-day living with that science. Yes.
All right, that is Dr. Winfred Mutuku, Chairperson, Department Mathematics and Actuarial Science here at Kenyatta University, talking to us about girls, women, and young girls in STEM. We are taking another short break at this point. Of course, you're coming back with more stories, so stay with us.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design, with branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa. Our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
Hello everybody! I'm Nena. And I'm Gigi. Welcome to Engine Season 2!
The place to find out about the world we live in
and the creatures that we share our planet with.
Join us on the most exciting adventures across the African continent.
See breathtaking wildlife, stunning landscapes,
And out of this world technologies.
Meet incredible scientists.
And learn fantastic facts.
Explore, discover, be amazed.
Part of the next generation of African change makers.
Be a part of Engine, Africa's #1 science discovery program. Yay!
We're learning every day. Let's go! Engine leads the way.
All right, welcome back. Now let's take a look at what's happening in the world of sports. Harambee Stars are set to return to action in March with 2 friendly matches after more than 1 year of inactivity. According to a statement from Football Kenya Federation, Engine Firat-led charge will play friendly matches against Burundi on March 25th and 28th here in Nairobi. Harambee Stars was last in action on November 15, 2021, when they beat neighbors Rwanda 2-1 at Nyayo National Stadium in the 2022 World Cup qualifiers match, where Kenya finished 3rd in the pool and missed out on the final phase of the qualifiers. Now, Western Jaguars hockey team has all reasons to smile after they were given a chance on Saturday to participate in the upcoming African Cup for Clubs Hockey Championship in Nairobi. Africa Hockey Federation had earlier given the home team the chance to participate in the annual event by virtue of finishing 3rd in the Kenya Hockey Union Premier League, but due to big entry in the men's category, AHF recalled the slot. Jaguars were handed entry after Wananchi men and women and Deliverance Church men from Uganda pulled out of the event due to financial constraints. All right, that's a wrap from us here at KUTV News Desk. Many thanks indeed for keeping us company. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and let's meet again tomorrow for the Weekend Prime. I am ODIDA and I'm in the company of Ruth CHEPKOECH, the sign language interpreter tonight. Have a good night and see you tomorrow.